GM invokes jobs, Pixels can't call 911, Neato disappoints, and TikTok's ice position. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by Surfshark. Visit surfshark.com/MacVoices or use code MacVoices at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. Okay, this comes from the file of I just don't understand. GM removing CarPlay from more cars, bizarrely citing Steve Jobs as inspiration.
They had to blame someone.
Well, it's a nice little attempt at swinging around, and I don't know what they think they're trying to accomplish, but it just seems odd.
No, it's not they, it's Mary Barra.
Okay, well, Mary's the one that said it, but do you think her PR people had anything to do with it?
Well, I think that was a line that's been crafted over, it didn't just, she didn't just make it up on the spot, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was calculated, so.
Yeah,
to some extent.
Yeah, but frankly, it's a very Jobsian approach to things. The removal of the disk drive, nobody liked that. Everybody on the forums and Facebook was complaining about it. But to that, he said, look, guys, flash storage really is the future. Get on board. You'll see that. That's kind of what we're saying here. In fact, that's exactly what we're saying. Okay.
Well, as so many commenters I've seen on this, she didn't even get that right.
Yeah.
Because, it wasn't, floppies are removed because of a flash drive. And I don't think flash drives even existed. They put a CD drive in instead of a floppy drive. Also, she was saying, everybody was complaining on forums and Facebook. Facebook didn't even exist for another 5-6 years.
Thank you, Jim. I'm glad you said it, and I didn't have to.
So I've seen this. 9 to 5 had it. I've seen it. Like every tech website has had this story, so I've seen it on a bunch of different outlets, and I looked at the comments on every one of them, and it's not playing well with readers of tech websites. So the comments are about 50 to 1, like, this is incredibly stupid and I'll never buy a GM car because of this. A lot of them are like, well, I wasn't going to buy a GM car anyway, which is kind of my take. Although, some people are saying, the biggest problem is GM sells a lot into rental car fleets. So, this is going to greatly increase the odds that you rent a car and get one that doesn't have CarPlay, which really sucks. I think this is going to impact them. People are not going to buy their cars. But so far it hasn't. They've done this for their EVs. And in 2025, they've become the second largest U.S. manufacturer of EVs behind Tesla, who also doesn't have CarPlay. So although people online, commenters, are all saying, yeah, I'm never going to buy a GM car because of this, they have good lease prices. And I think people are like, oh, well, for $199 a month, I can do without CarPlay. So it remains to be seen whether, but it's not popular with people that read tech blogs, but maybe that's just an insignificant part of the car market.
And look, to be fair about it, it's not just CarPlay that's under the gun here. It's also Android Auto. So
right.
It's basically they're saying that we don't care. We want to craft this. And Jim, you're right. I love the way you kind of tore apart the technical specifications. the one thing she's right about is, yeah, there was a great deal of smoke, shall we say, over taking out the CD, the floppy drive. But to compare a floppy drive to CarPlay, because the floppy drive was kind of a dead end from the standpoint of just the capacity.
Yeah.
But the CarPlay is just getting started, just getting ramped up. You know, I don't see it as a dead end product like the floppy was.
I think there's a more important reason why this analogy is totally bonkers. You know, the floppy drive was removed because Jobs felt like there was better technology, and you know, he was like, basically, you'll thank me later. Well, even though they won't say it, you know, GM is doing this because they want subscription revenue, because they want to sell your data to insurance companies and other people, and they want to set up an app store and you know, make, you know, that sweet. And somebody was saying, you know, that's how it's like Jobs. They want to set up an app store. So, you know, those are all the reasons for it. You know, zero of the reasons are that this is going to be better for the customer. So, you know, when Jobs did that, it was, you know, he genuinely thought this is better for the customer. That is not why GM is doing this. They're trying to spin it that they are, but, you know, it's complete baloney. And, you know, no one thinks that that's the reason.
Yeah, and the App Store. I mean, the App Store was way in the future at that point in time.
Right. No, she is not saying that, but some, you know, I've seen comments which, you know, and you know, so GM is trying to sell you their own system when they're saying, you know, we're going to have apps that you can buy for your car. So, you know, she wasn't saying, you know, why would she say that? Because the App Store is not a popular thing at this point. The Jobs did, I would say. Plus, she probably, you know, I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of nutty. So, as long as no other manufacturers, you know, as long as this isn't a trend and Ford and Hyundai and Toyota don't start doing this also, which now, and I don't know if it was in your list, I can't remember. Did you see that Toyota is now enhancing CarPlay integration? And their EVs now, the car now sends state of charge information to Apple Maps, so that Apple Maps on Toyota vehicles can now, you know, do range estimates and tell you what state of charge you're going to arrive at electric vehicle chargers. And the really amazing thing about that is it's retroactive. It's going to be available on the EVs that Toyota has already sold since 2023. So, wow, did not see that going. And, you know, means there's no hardware change, or the hardware already supported it. But anyway, so Toyota is expanding the, you know, maybe they're not doing CarPlay Ultra, but they are expanding the functionality of CarPlay and Apple Maps. Exact opposite direction of GM.
Brett in the chat room says, every time I rent a car for MacStock, I have to ask if the car has CarPlay. The folks at Enterprise say it's the most requested feature on their rental cars. This is why GM removing CarPlay makes no sense.
Well,
so,
you know,
that's interesting.
I was at a local EV meetup about a month ago, and the local GM dealer was there showing their EV. You know, they had brought an EV and was like, you know, trying, you know, you should look at GM EVs. And I had a long conversation with the guy and about a lot of different things. And it turns out he privately owned a Tesla. But, you know, I was saying, you know, I would never buy this car because it doesn't have CarPlay. And he said, you know, that is the number one thing I hear day in, day out as a GM salesman. And, you know, he was like, I think they're going to have to come out with a software update and reverse that. Well, I don't think they're going to. That's certainly not, you know, sounds like they're going the opposite direction. But that was his take as a salesman of GM cars, that, you know, people are walking out the door every day because no CarPlay, goodbye. So
this story keeps coming back, and we'll keep coming back to it because, again, it just. I hear what you're. I understand the idea that maybe it's not the most important feature, but on the other hand, you got to be a real car guy like Webb to really, I think, overlook the convenience factor of some of these things and really want that particular vehicle, because at the end of the day, it seems like they're all becoming more and more just the same. And it's the little things that make the difference.
Certainly, I think, there's nothing special about any particular GM vehicle other than maybe a good lease deal.
Yeah.
But, there's not like somebody's like, oh, yeah, my dream car is a Chevy Blazer. I don't think so. So, that's just an interchangeable.
But Corvettes is another story. There are people that are hard Corvette people.
Oh.
But we're not talking about Corvettes.
Yeah, we are, because they're GM cars.
Yeah.
And it is somebody's dream car,
Yeah. So, I could see somebody saying, yeah, I don't need CarPlay in my Corvette. But, if you're talking about an Equinox, a Blazer, a pickup truck, you can buy somebody else's car that's basically, the funny part is for the Equinox EV, you can buy the same car from Honda. If you go look at Honda Prologue, is the exact same car. It's built on the same line, same motor, same body. But guess what? It comes with CarPlay.
Yeah.
So now Jim is going to compile a list of all the EVs and the ones that don't have CarPlay, and then their CarPlay equivalents from other manufacturers.
I don't need to compile a list. Tesla, Rivian, and GM do not have CarPlay. Everybody else does.
Hey, I want to welcome Dave Ginsburg to the show. He had an obligation, but he's here now. Dave, thank you for joining us. It's great to see you.
Great to be here. So I missed the part of the show, but I don't mind sharing. I was doing a training session with some coworkers on using their iPads. So
the more iPads, the better.
Yes, and we have lots of them.
Keep selling those iPads, Dave. Push Apple back up over that 4 trillion mark. You can do it. Today's Mac Voices is supported by Surfshark. I'm in my hotel room on hotel Wi-Fi, trying to get work done. Not exactly speedy and definitely not safe, no matter which hotel chain you're staying in. Except for the lumpy mattress, I can rest easy. I've got Surfshark VPN. Hotel Wi-Fi is one of the easiest places for hackers to snoop on your connection. They can see your emails, logins, even your credit card details. But with Surfshark running, everything I do online is encrypted and hidden. I can check email, shop, stream, even manage work files without worrying about who else is connected to the network. And Surfshark is a no-logs VPN, so there's no record of what I've been up to. I like that a lot. Surfshark also lets me access my favorite sites and streaming services from anywhere in the world, so I can catch up on my favorite shows, not whatever happens to be available where I'm staying. And it works on every device. Laptop, tablet, phone, all under one account. So sure, the mattress might be questionable, but my internet security isn't. Go to surfshark.com/MacVoices or use the code MacVoices at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN absolutely free. With the 30-day money-back guarantee, you can be sure Surfshark is for you. Unlike my hotel room. That's surfshark.com/MacVoices. Because even when the Wi-Fi is free, your data shouldn't be. Thanks to Surfshark for supporting Mac Voices. Marty, I could not remember what you said. Didn't you say you got a Google phone the other day?
Yeah, well, no, not recently. I had one a while ago. I had the Fold that I think I showed you at MacStock, and and I also bought just a straight-on Google phone at one point to play around after I sold the Fold back. So,
Well, I've asked just because I didn't know if anybody here has any experience with this, but Lifehackers has an article reporting that Google Pixels are still having problems calling 911. And this is a problem that honestly I had not heard about, or if I did, I didn't remember it because it didn't apply to me. But apparently it's been a problem since 2021.
Yeah.
That, and that's,
What do you mean one of these?
is that, oh, okay. So is that,
This is the Pixel 10 XL.
okay. Have you tried to
Yeah, but
call 911?
the pictures look
No.
so good when you're dying.
You know,
The selfies are just
wow, that was dark.
No, I have not tried it. It's not my full-time device. So
Okay. Well, keep your iPhone handy. So if you need to call 911, call it on the iPhone.
I always do when I have to. Which
Yeah, I was going to say, does this
rare
a
if ever.
frequent occurrence, David?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we sort of touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'll throw the article in. Again, this is from Lifehacker. The ChatGPT's AI browser has a nasty security vulnerability that I guess can affect when you're trying to paste information into it, that what you're pasting might not be what you copied, because there's a clipboard vulnerability. So be aware of it. Has anybody started using the Atlas browser on a regular basis? I know we were all playing with it, but okay.
No, I tried it, but didn't really spend a lot of time with it.
Yeah.
I tried to use it to get a fix on it and wound up just defaulting to the Mac OS app and just running all my stuff through that, because it doesn't give me anything that I can't get out of that right now. I mean the browser itself. So I did take the time to copy and paste your financial information into the clipboard.
Oh,
So.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. So when somebody else goes to paste it, you may be pasting my financial information. Brian?
Yeah, I play with it a little bit, and I've been using it like if I'm reading an article, maybe to summarize or pull out some key points from articles. But still, most of my day-to-day browsing and certainly anything I'm logging into is for me, it's Safari. That's what I'm using. Looking at this Lifehacker article, I think at least this particular vulnerability, though, I think is for when you use try to pull in the agents to help it do some actions. And I want to say that's a ChatGPT Plus feature as opposed to something I'm using for free.
Yeah, it's still it's early days, and so just be aware, folks, that you know this stuff is the Atlas browser's a week old, little week, 10 days old,
maybe.
Yeah, so
I predict they'll fix it.
Yeah. You think?
Yeah.
Well, I think they'll fix it. But
it shouldn't have gotten through QA. There's no doubt about that. They should have caught it. These things slip by. We can sit here and chastise them. They shouldn't have done it. They'll tell you they shouldn't have done it, but they'll fix it.
Yeah, and I don't know if the article said it. I don't remember reading it, but I mean some of these things. Let's be fair about it. Are very specific instances, and maybe they're not going to apply to everyone. It's just the fact that they exist and that they could. So I was really disappointed in this because Neato was a company that I know had some really great products. I know I've owned some Neato products, not this particular one, but they are shutting down the support for the company's robot vacuum cleaners 3 years earlier than promised. Taking the basically the intelligence out of these things and turning them into just a dumb vacuum cleaner, and that just blows me away. I mean, this is a class action suit waiting to happen.
They promised, and then all of a sudden went back on it.
It doesn't turn it into a dumb vacuum cleaner. It turns it to something you need to put in the trash.
Yeah, it's a brick. Yeah.
Basically,
Is it a brick? I mean, it said turning the smart device into dumb ones. So I'm.
Well, what are you gonna? I have one of these things now. The unfortunate story is the software was so terrible, it was kind of bricked out of the box, and I stopped using it after a few months because it was just so cumbersome, and it would keep forgetting all the settings, and you'd have to log on, and it used this tiny font you couldn't see, and it was just terrible. So it's been, sitting there for a couple of years now, and every now and then I think, oh, I should try and fire it up again, and now I realize, no, I guess I shouldn't.
Well, now you won't have to worry about it, Jim.
But maybe I can. Yeah, exactly. So maybe I can sign on to this sweet class action. But considering how well how the software was originally implemented, I'm not surprised that they're continuing to be a poor company, or whatever, doing things poorly.
Jim, did it ever function to any level of satisfaction?
I mean, it did, but the thing was, it took a lot of fiddling to get it, so it would have to map your house, and it took a lot of fiddling to get it to do that. And then maybe it would, the next week it would work okay, and for 3 or 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden it would just forget everything, and you'd have to start from scratch and do all the fiddling all over again. So it seemed to do an okay job at cleaning. And the cat was fascinated by it. It was noisy. So I think the hardware was fine, but the software was just terrible.
Well, the article from 9 to 5 Mac points out that this is yet another reminder of the importance of sticking in the smart product category with either HomeKit or Matter support, so that you're not just reliant on the individual company.
I guess, I was kind of surprised. I don't think I realized until I saw this story a couple days ago that there was any server component to it. I'm not sure why does it have a server component? I don't know why. I was kind of puzzled why I had to log on too. So, maybe it was doing a bunch of stuff on the server that I thought was happening on my phone. I don't know.
Webb, you had a comment?
Oh, it just another not in the same category so much as what's the name of the all from Neato, but Roomba is having their own financial issues, and I could be wrong. I was going to say that I always thought Roomba was kind of the 400-pound gorilla in this robot vacuum space. People might disagree with me, but they're having a lot of trouble. They've been searching for a buyer because they're still hemorrhaging a lot of cash, and they can't find anybody who's interested in buying that iRobot line. So I think I tried one, didn't like it, sent it back within 30 days, and I'm not regretting it at all. But that's another story for another time. But I don't know. I was going to ask the question: does anybody here have a robot vacuum? Jim, you said that you had this first one, but anyone else using one?
No.
I did. Yeah, I did have one early on, and it lasted for a while. But there were maintenance issues that I think were just a product of the design, because it was one of the early ones. And I've been kind of looking at the UFIs. I've heard some good things about the UFIs. So at some point, when I have nothing else to do, I'll probably check it out again, but not for right now. Marty, I think I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say I have a Roomba, and I was given a used one by, not a Roomba, but another robot vacuum, and played with it and tried it for a while, and then decided I wanted to, quote, upgrade to a good Roomba. And now basically the dog barks at it and chases it around the room. So it, do I want clean floors, or do I want to listen to that all the time? So I don't activate it as much, just because of it upsets the whole household.
Mm. Eric, do you use one?
No, although
okay.
I've looked at it, especially because the floor mopping, wet and dry vacuuming technology has gotten significantly better, where it can dock and empty the wastewater and pick up new and then go back out and clean again. And the kind of cleaning of the brushes has gotten better, and the detection of objects that gum things up has gotten better. So yeah, I was just getting ready. Now I might wait just a wee bit, because I hadn't realized that there were some issues. Because I don't even need the whole house. I just want entry room floor and another section of floor where the dogs come running in and don't always get their feet appropriately wiped off on the mat. So single dedicated task, go out 2-3 times a day, clean that area, and I'd be happy.
You need one for the chicken pen too.
Yeah.
The chicken coop.
Chickens are on their own. I'm not going to send them a Roomba. They might ask. But, you make one mistake with an egg and it's all over. That does not fix itself.
Yeah. Well, Craig in the chat room may have just solved the whole problem. He said he got something much more expensive, a wife and a smart wife.
2 of them?
That's what it says. I'm just reporting. I don't know. Craig, you may want to rephrase that. You can let us know.
Yeah, Craig, I hope your wife never finds out that she is a replacement for a robot.
Yeah. And does that imply that one of the wives is smart and the other one isn't? I don't want to even get into that.
Staying so far away from that.
I can't imagine why. Oh, my. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.